All right, hi everybody. God bless you and thank you for joining. I just recently released a video of me saying goodbye to my sister Joyce. I'm going to go ahead and put that banner up there. And this sounds a little bit questionable. Can you say goodbye to somebody that's already gone? Those of you that know me know that I lost my sister Joyce on, here we go, on April the 8th of 2022. And because of that, I am experiencing something in this season that I just kind of wanted to come on here and share with you. Um, the last one, the music was too loud, but this time it's a little bit low and I can't hear it. I kind of needed to calmly walk me through this. As you know, music is a coping mechanism. All right, so I think that's sufficient. Well, listen, I wanted to come on here because today is September 27th. Yesterday, September 26th, would have been my sister, my baby sister Joyce, uh, would have celebrated her 65th birthday. We were born 362 days apart. So, for all of our lives, at least 64 years because she passed at the age of 64. We celebrated our birthdays together because we'd be the same age for 3 days. So she would have turned 65 yesterday. And on this upcoming Thursday, the 29th of September, that celebration would have ended as I would be turning 66. My sister and I had a very, very unique, or can I say, an unrivaled bond because we celebrated many things. We celebrated being baptized on the same day, being getting saved on the same day. We also went to the same high school, junior high school, and elementary school at the same time, except for when I graduated. But I always wanted to make sure that she was all right. We went through a lot of experiences. We were born and raised in Buffalo. There were snowstorms and there were torrential downpours coming from that lake effect. And I would shelter my sister and walk her home. She would be crying because she was terrified. And I would wrap my coat around her and I would talk to her in her ear all the way home. God is going to protect us. We were about 7 and 8. I said, God is going to protect us. He's not going to let anything bad happen to us. And she just cried and cried. And then when we got within maybe just a few yards of the building we lived in, she threw my coat off her shoulders and took off running and got into the building before me. Well, I guess that started a pattern of things because as we grew older, again, we shared a room together, and in sharing that room together, we had our own TV shows we agreed to watch. And we had our own music that we enjoyed together. We were close in the same age, so we knew the same people. We were in the same choir, so a lot of the songs and sometimes it would just be Joyce and I that attended church. That was just the way that we were. We were, kind of peas in a pod. And then we just grew up with our laughter, our own culture, our own friendship, our own secrets, our own jokes. And then again, she went ahead of me and she got married before me. So that was just another thing. So we were separated by that, but not really. And then my sister was a very unique person. She had her own convictions, and she stood by them without apology. And I supported her in pretty much everything she did, unless it was just downright wrong. And of course, the same thing. And the Bible was just downright wrong. She would let me know, and I would let her know. But that was the way that we were. But if anybody was to touch my sister, um, there would be a problem because there was just no logic in it. There was no conversation. It was just, that's my sister. And so we get through the year, she had children, and I got married there, and then we had our, relationship, but we weren't as close. But here at the towards the end of our lives, we started going through experiences, and we lost our parents. Losing our father first, and then losing our mother, which was extremely difficult for anyone. And my mother passed away while I was out of town. So there was a last image that I had of my mother, and I told Joyce, I said, just about a year ago, I said, I just wish I had been there because I had been there every morning before she got her day started. I was there for her at lunch. And then when I got off work, I would be there again with her to make sure she ate dinner. And then after church, I came back to make sure that she was getting to bed at night comfortably without crisis. And so I was out of town, and I told my sister Joyce how much I missed that opportunity. And she said, you're out of town. She said, but I went to see mom the day before she died, and she told me she was going to die. And Joyce said, well, I don't like that. And so my mother told her, she said, well, I've already talked to God, and he told me I'm going to leave here. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to leave here. Joyce just told me that maybe a year and a half ago. So this is information just from a conversation that we had as we were starting to get close again, and we were getting into, hey, you call it senior citizen, I call it a middle elder. I have a friend that just turned 67, and he says it's middle elder because the elderly of the elderly, are going to be up in their 90s and some in their hundreds and late 80s. So when you're 66 and 67, you're middle elder. Anyway, we started having more conversations, which was very good for me. We started talking. She was my secretary for the corporation. She was so supportive. She was so excellent in what she did. And we started talking on a regular basis. And all I wanted to do was just give her whatever she wanted. She wanted a computer, I'd send it to her. And she thought she wanted some fish, and I'd go shopping and take her to groceries over there. And she was so proud of her older sister, and that made me feel good that somebody felt good about me. And she always introduced me to all of her friends. And so anyway, this particular sister was just very important to me. I loved her. She was the cutest thing growing up. Joyce moved out to San Diego about 6 months before she passed away, and she got sick, and I wanted to go out there and see her. And I looked at her. We had a video conference the night before Joyce died, and in that conference, she looked good. She didn't appear to be in any type of distress. So I went ahead and hung up on a ticket, and as soon as I got off work the next day, went out there. I stopped and bought a t-shirt and a hat, and I said, we're going to dress her up because she's from Detroit. I was born in Buffalo. I put something on her from Detroit with a hat, put a little makeup on her, and we were just laughing. I knew I could make her laugh on her deathbed. I knew, because we just had so many things that we talked about, that some things would just have her falling out laughing, and that just gave me so much joy growing up. And then we would do some video, so we could talk to some family members. But it wasn't to be, because my sister's daughter let me know when I was in baggage claim after I arrived in San Diego that Joyce had passed about 2 hours before the plane landed. It was kind of hard, but I don't think that God wanted, or maybe it was something that I didn't need to witness. Maybe it was an image I didn't need burned in my memory. So I went ahead and accepted it. But being a grief counselor, you can believe the first time that rose up in my heart, I laid down and I pulled the covers over my head and cried as hard as I could. My husband tried to comfort me and I kept saying, but that was my baby sister. So now I'm the last woman left from my two older sisters, my baby sister, my aunt lived with us, and of course my mother. So all those women, I'm the last one in the house. I don't know a woman that knows me from my, my genesis, like any of them did. So they're gone, but I have God. And I have my two younger brothers. I'm saying that because I want to encourage someone to make the most of the relationships you have and the times that you have. Clear up any rifts that you may have. Clear up any discord. I'm reading a book and I've read it a few times and you can see that. It's called The Four Things That Matter Most. And it was written by Ira Byock. And I'm going to give you those four things because these are the things you always want to say. They will leave good memories. They will leave a soft landing place when your loved one is gone, even if they leave you suddenly and they come to your mind. First thing is to say, please forgive me. Don't be too proud, or don't let anything that is so petty and insignificant that you cannot even remember, and don't be so stubborn that you cannot say, please forgive me. And then be sure to return, I forgive you, easily, and not just, as mere words, but from the heart. Do it with your heart. There is a significant difference, and it is seen and felt. The third thing is to always say thank you. Thank you to those who you love and those who surround you with love. Maybe you don't love them so much. They may be acquaintances, or they may be work co-workers, or they may be, church members or friends or neighbors, or just someone, that you do love. But always say, if you love someone, let them know that you love them. It's going to leave a soft landing place in your heart. There's some things we cannot change. And once the past has been set, it's etched in stone. But you do have relationships. And all relationships have their rough spots. All of them have occasional rough spots. So don't think that this is something that just is so unbelievable or just so out of the ordinary. All relationships experience them. But get past them by saying the four things that matter most. And that again is, please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you, and I love you. Toward the end of our relationship, or toward the end of my sister's life, she became the secretary for my business, and she did an outstanding job. Like, she was working for a major corporation, and I could depend on her, and I was so confident in the work that she was doing. And I would always just end the call by saying, "Hey, I love you, sis." And this is not something we did growing up. We just knew we did, That was all too. We just knew it was there. But I would say, "I love you, sis." And she first started saying, "I love you too, Valerie." And then later on it would be, "I love you, sis," before we hang up. And she'd say, "I love you too, sis." And so those things, again, a soft landing spot when you're going through those memories. So one thing, I want to quote this to you from Helen Keller. She says, "Worse than being blind would be having vision but not being able to see. There is so much that you can see in someone else. There's always some good to see. There are always some benefits to see. And even later on in life, as wisdom increases, you will see the value in some of the things that you went through that you thought were totally unnecessary. They shaped you and they were by someone that you love. So always clear the rifts that you have a good relationship. Finally, I wanted to say my nephew did a wonderful thing. That was Joyce's youngest son, Charles. He wanted to meet at a bowling alley. My sister loves to bowl. And some of her friends would be there, and he wanted to have his siblings. She had 8 children, 24 grandchildren, and 4 great grandchildren. And she wanted to meet there so we could all get together. And of course, there were some family members that we weren't as close with. You know, you kind of go apart, you have disagreements, you don't forgive. But when you get down to these kind of days, seeing my family, it just made me say, hey, don't worry about whatever happened. Forget it. We belong to each other. We love each other. We come from a good background. And so that was a wonderful thing that Charles did. And he started the mending process of those that have kind of separated and drifted. So I just want to say that I am still saying goodbye to Joyce. And this may take a while. And listen, I want you to know it may take a while for you too. This is her birthday season. She would have been 65 yesterday. We were born 362 days apart. So for the next 3 days until Thursday, when I turned 66, we would have been the same age. So we celebrated that every year. And then on my birthday, I celebrate with my youngest brother, who was born on my 5th birthday. So last year we celebrated our 60 and 65, 60/65, and this year we'll celebrate our 61, 66. We're still here, so I still have my 2 brothers and a host of nieces and nephews that came from this sister and my other sisters that have gone on before us. So kudos to Chucky, Charles, for bringing everybody together. So I'm still saying goodbye because it's going to take a few years to say, hey, Joyce would have been here to celebrate this with me. Hey, it's Christmas time. I don't have my sister. It's Mother's Day. I can't wish her happy Mother's Day. So you have to go through your holidays, and you have to go through the events that you had, the things that happened with the children, all the different reasons that would have brought you together. So a few years of going through those cycles, you begin to find yourself coping and gaining a better ability to manage your emotions through those times, even though the loved one is gone, which is reasonable because 3 to 5 years is a good, healthy time to understand that you'll go through at least that much time before the coping and the sense of normalcy becomes evident. So again, I'm saying goodbye. I'm still saying goodbye to Joyce. And she comes to mind. I'm going to come over here and talk about it because that's one of my coping strategies. So those of you that are suffering the loss of a loved one, God bless you. I hope and pray that you find a way to also get that comfort and consolation as we did. All right, this is Dr. Valerie Simpson, and I'm saying goodbye to Joyce. And I still say for these next 3 days, I'm going to remember the fact that we would have been 65 together. All right, everybody, God bless you and take care.